Hey there, this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Life topics the way I see them. I'm your host, Nina Perez. I am here to challenge and transform your thinking. No excuses. Let's do this. What's up, everybody? It's Nina Perez, your host. It is so nice to be back with you. It's been a while since I've been back. I think I've missed about 2 weeks or so. Just trying to think about this series that we've been in. We're in the Fight Back series, and this is fighting back the enemy and fighting back life when it hits you hard. So we've been talking about a lot of heavy topics and things that we've been kind of wrestling with, right? A lot of people have been reading my book, which is Hit Me With Your Best Shot, How I Overcame a Hard-Hitting Life. And there's a lot of a recurrent theme that I hear from so many people as they're going, reading through my book and going, whoa. And all I keep doing is getting hugs and hugs and hugs about, you are so strong and thank you so much. And you've inspired me and I'm going to go write my book now. And I faced my demon and I faced my brother who did this to me and my uncle who did this to me and my mom who did this to me and my sister who did this to me. And it's been unbelievably a blessing in my life to have been able to expose my truth the way I did and know that I was going to get some repercussions from that, but that I am getting blessed by others coming to me to letting me know what they're overcoming. So when we did this series, I wanted to talk about 5 major points or 5 things that I learned in my life. I learned while writing this book, really. And a theme that I didn't realize that I did learn in my life and things that I'm still learning, right? So some of the topics that we have covered in this series, and if you haven't heard the beginning 4, I really recommend that you do, because there's a lot of heavy content in there and a lot of, kind of explaining each one of these things. So I'll explain to you what I'm talking about right now. So just to recap very quickly, I talked about overcoming shame and the power of forgiveness, standing in your truth and letting go so that you can receive more in life. Today, I wanted to talk about dreaming big, right? So just to touch on it, to overcome shame is something that I really had to do. And a lot of people that have been coming to me to talk to me are really heavy laden with shame, which really breaks my heart, because I realize that this shame is stopping us from being our full selves, right? And what is our full selves? I don't know. I do not know. I don't know what that means. I know that it means for me that I was held back, that I wouldn't write my book, that I wouldn't speak my truth, that I was very ashamed of telling people what I've gone through in my life, right? And I lived with shame most of my life. I mean, it started when my stepfather, was molesting me. It started when my family didn't believe me. That started at about the age of 6, I think, 5 or 6. I can't remember the exact age, but I do remember the moments, believe me. And I always felt very embarrassed about that. I always felt unloved. I always felt unworthy. It took a lot of years for me to realize that I had nothing to be ashamed of. And that's still sometimes a little bit of a stinger to say, right? Because you live with shame for so long, it almost becomes like your comfort blanket, your friend, something that you think is there to protect you, right? If you don't speak about it, you're protected. Well, that's BS. That's total BS, because you're not free. And, for me to sit here right now on this podcast and say to you guys, hey, listen, guys, I was molested as a child. That led me into these things of overeating and meeting a boy that I thought was so cute who used to beat the crap out of me for years, right? I was in a horrible domestic violent relationship, but I didn't feel worthy of anything. So I thought this was the norm, right? This is what you do, right? So shame can bring on a lot of other issues, man, a lot of other issues in your life. And so I had to overcome that, and I'm trying to help people now overcome their shame, because they have nothing to be ashamed of, especially when it was put on them. It's not something they did, but something that was done to them. And then we become self-destructive because of it, right? So that's when I talked about the power of forgiveness, right? To forgive means to cease the resentment about somebody owning or owing you something, right? So it's to cease the feeling of resentment against somebody and to grant relief of them owing you anything. You know how hard that is? Do you know how hard it is to know that my stepfather used to molest me when I was a child and I couldn't defend myself, but I had to grant a relief of payment to him and not hold him debt? Do you think that was for him? No, that was for me. Because forgiveness can be very difficult, and it takes superpowers to forgive sometimes. It really does. Why should I let him off the hook is what I talked about. That's not fair. It didn't feel fair. And sometimes it still doesn't feel fair. But in my life, I mean, I have had so many events happen to me after being molested, right? I mean, I've been beaten and rejected and mistreated, and I mean, you just name it, right? So forgiveness had to be something I had to do because I was living too long in that victim mentality, that stick it to them attitude, that they're going to pay and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Dang, man, I was only holding myself back, right? I was the victim. It was about me, and nobody's going to mess with me. And this is happening to me because of me, because this happened to me, and this person did this to me, and this is why I am how I am because of this. I mean, you know what? I'm so done with BS. I think I'm just getting to a different stage in my life where a lot of things are starting to irritate the crap out of me. And me being a victim of me is one of them. I am really kind of getting a little bit fed up with being a victim. So I had to learn to forgive and let people go so that I can move forward, right? And what was the only way to do that was to stand in my truth. You know, here's the reality. Since I came out with my book, you know, I had to stand in my truth after exposing my truth. I mean, some members of my family weren't too happy about my book, but I didn't need them to be happy. And you know, I had to ask myself the question, Neens, when you write this book and all of this backlash comes at you, is this worth writing? And the answer was yes, it is worth writing. Because I need to be really honest with myself. I need to be really honest with people. I need to be really honest, period. In order to continue on my healing journey, I need to be honest. And that's a really hard place to be, guys. That's a hard place to be. You know, on top of it, I'm a Christian, right? And being honest as a Christian is another thing coming against you. Because people think, oh, you're judgy or you're this or you're that, not realizing that they're the ones being judgy as well when they're judging me because of my belief system. So it's a really difficult place to be. But I also need to stand in that truth and say, am I willing to be persecuted and mistreated because I'm a Christian? And the answer is yes. You know, denying things, lying about them, sugarcoating them, that isn't going to help me, and it definitely isn't going to help you. That's why this podcast is called Straight Talk, no sugar added, right? I mean, it impedes on us having a true, authentic relationship with one another. That doesn't mean that I need you bashing me, and it doesn't mean that I need to bash you. You can have an opinion, and I should be able to respect that. And I should be able to have an opinion, and you should be able to respect that, because that's what respect is, right? So we shouldn't be lying to one another or accusing one another or pointing fingers at one another. I mean, it is just ridiculous, the things that are happening out there. And it's actually a little bit nerve-wracking, to be quite honest. You know, I don't know what's happening, and I don't like it, but I know one thing. I know that I need to stand in my truth, and I know that I'm also exploring what truth really is. I feel like I've been in a little bit of a bubble, of a doctrine bubble, and not being taught the truth about who God is, what is theology, what is apologetics, what does it all mean in my life. And I'm now seeking to find that, right? And that, you know, standing in my truth, it has gotten me to a place where I need to let go so that I can receive more. So letting go of lies, letting go of deception, letting go of my hurtful past. Does that mean that I won't remember it? No, I'm not freaking dead. I will remember it, but I don't need to live in that either, right? So letting go of our past doesn't mean you ignore it. Removing false labels doesn't mean that you pretend that the pain, you know, of what happened or what was said to you never happened. I mean, that's just unreality. That's a little bit of insanity, really. It is the reality of what happened or what is happening to us now. It is definitely a reality, but it's also something that has helped us and shaped us into who we are, whether positive or negative, right? Because what my stepfather did to me was negative, but what it did also, it made me realize that I had to protect my children, and I never hurt them in that way. Right? So I guess it depends on how you take what has happened to you. You know, I want to get healed. And I don't want to be a victim anymore. And I don't want you to be a victim anymore. I don't want you to be a victim anymore. And so
maybe sometimes I'm in your face a little bit and I push people a little bit, but I want you to be free, really. Free from BS, free from false doctrines, free from false opinions or what's popular in the world. I don't get it. I guess I'm just a little bit kind of like fed up, really. I think that's just what's happening to me, guys. It's like some of the stuff is a little bit, asinine to me. I mean, I just don't agree with it. I think some stuff is just people just jump on a trend without thinking of the complications and the consequences of what happens. And I don't know what's going on with me, but I know that, in other words, in order for me to be able to receive more in my life, I need to know truth. And the only way to know truth is to seek it for myself. I don't know. I just want to be healed, and I want people who are listening to me to be healed from all the hurts in their past and from maybe all the lies that they're being told that they don't even realize are lies that are causing them to stumble a bit. And I think that's just what I'm here for. I really believe that. In Philippians 3:12 and 14, it says, I am not saying that I have it all together, that I have made it, but I am well on my way, reaching out for Christ, who has so wondrously reached out for me. Friends, don't get me wrong. By no means do I count myself an expert in all of this, but I've got my eye on the goal where God is beckoning us onward to Jesus. I'm off and running, and I am not turning back. Come on. I mean, that is exactly how I am feeling. That is exactly how I am feeling. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to do. I am still seeking. I am still trying to find, what it is that I am dreaming about, what it is that I have in me, what it is that I, am here for. I don't know. But what I do know is that my dreams have gotten bigger and my scope has gotten wider. But my view of my God and my Lord has gotten focused, right? So I've learned that, it's not all about name it and claim it, blab it and grab it, all that kind of stuff, which is what I actually have been indoctrined with for many, many years. But I've realized that for me in this life is now going to be about having this relationship that is authentic with God, having a relationship that is authentic to His Word, and not trying to fluff it up and make it what I think it is, but the actual truth of what it is. And that's where I'm at right now. That is where I'm at. So I'm hoping that what I'm doing here with these podcasts and the things that I have fed you so far in what I have learned so far, right? Because like I said, and like Philippians says, I am not saying that I have this all together because I don't. But what I do know is that I am moving forward and not backwards. I do know that I am learning to forgive. I am learning to stand in my truth. I am learning to overcome shame. I am learning to let it go. I am learning all of those things. So when I do have a dream, and I know that there is a purpose and a plan for me, you see what I'm saying? So because I know it, I want to use what I am learning with my walk in my faith, but also my walk in this life creatively and intelligently. I want to be creative and intelligent in what I am doing, right? I want to be able to balance my life so that I can dream bigger. I mean, this sounds silly, right? Because you're saying, well, dreaming big means not having, kind of like parameters around your dream because you don't want to, sell yourself short, and you don't want to, you have to dream for the biggest thing so that you can obtain it, and you have to, put it out there so the universe can respond. And I am realizing so many things are just not working, and the reason that I'm realizing that is because I'm dreaming big, but I'm dreaming big focusing on God. And I don't know if that makes sense with all of you guys, but it definitely makes sense to me that the way that I need to dream big is to dream big with Him being the focal point of my life. That's where I'm at. I know that He has plans for me. I know that He wants to prosper me and not to harm me. I know that He loves me. I know that He wants to cover me with His grace, and I'm grateful for it. So I want to learn, what does grace really mean? What does God mean when he wants to cover me? What does it mean when he sings over me? What does it mean? And so we have all of these sayings sometimes as Christians that we think are in the Bible and they're not. And it's because we have been, taught these things. I mean, we're just being taught things that are not in the Bible. And you know what I'm starting to discover? That I want to be the type of Christian that could stand in my truth and stand there and actually reply to people who are really questioning, is there a God? Why is there a God? Who is God? Is he important? Why does God say this and that? Maybe God even didn't say this and that, right? And what's happening is I'm realizing that I'm learning a lot about this supernatural stuff, right? But then when it comes to the actual theology and apologetics of the word, I can't answer the questions. What? What is that? I mean, I want to be able to, so this is where my dream big is coming from. I want to be able to really solidly answer the questions that are coming against me or coming against our faith in a way that shows the other person that is asking these questions that we love them and that we're answering it in love, but in actual truth, and to be able to sustain that with proof, right? So anyway, that's just a tangent. What I'm saying is I need you guys to fight back in life. Fight back for things that are, that are your truth and things that you need to stand in. Overcoming shame. Forgive people who have wronged you. Forgive them. Let it go. That doesn't mean you forgive them. That doesn't mean you need to go hang out with them and go have cappuccinos. That just means that you literally say, you know what? That person has done me wrong, but I cannot live in their wrongness in my life anymore. So let them live with that, and I am living free. I can't do both. Right? And then stand in your truth. Well, you said A, B, C. That is correct. And that is my truth. Well, I don't remember that. That's okay. I am standing in my truth because this is what happened to me. This is what you did to me. I know you don't like what you did to me, but you did. And this is what it is. And I'm done with that. And I'm standing in my truth. Right? And then you just let it go. Why? Why let it go? Well, because you don't have room for garbage and stuff in your life that people have done to you, and then all the stuff that's coming your way, all the blessings that are coming your way, all the things that God wants to do to show you his love for you, right? But if you're living in depression and anxiety and in fear and in anguish and anger and you're living tied down because of what has been done to you, then you don't have room to receive more of the wonderful things that are coming your way. If you're somebody who is jaded in an old relationship, but then there's a new guy in your life just trying to love on you and for real, and he's authentic, you can't even receive it because in the back of your head, you're like, I don't even know if this is real, or I don't even know if I like him that much or anything. You start to get afraid. You start to get fearful. You don't know if that's what you're supposed to be doing. And that kind of stuff, guys, when you don't let go of the old stuff, it starts to ruin. It starts to come in and impede in all of your now stuff. So I really, really, really want to recommend to you that you learn to look at what has been done to you or what has been said to you or how you've been treated, and you let it go so that the blessings can come your way. That's just something I really believe in, and I hope that helps you. And then dream big. Your dreaming big and mine might be two totally different things, but my dreaming big is dreaming to be in truth. That is what I want. I want to be in truth. I want to be in truth. And that truth can be different for you than it is for me. But for me, I'm literally seeking a true, authentic relationship with God. That is literally what I am dreaming about right now. Just a true, authentic relationship with God, because I really believe that my true authentic relationship with God is going to spill over onto all of my relationships with people and all of my relationships at work and all of my relationships as I travel, because when I'm authentic with God, then I can be authentic with everybody else. That's just my dreaming big. So what's your dreaming big? What are you dreaming big about? What is, and I guess for everybody is different, right? So you could say, oh, I'm dreaming that I want $1 million home and all this money and stuff. I honestly don't know if that's one of my dreams. I know that I want to be out of debt. I know that I want to be, financially okay so that I'm not stressing about those kind of things like paying bills and getting oil in my tank and all that kind of stuff. That's all good stuff. And I will never bash anybody for wanting any of those things because Lord knows I want them too. But I think that I can hold on to truth for longer than I can hold on to money. That's just what I'm saying. So this is Nina Perez at Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And as always, completely blessed that you take the time to even listen to this Puerto Rican Babylon. Have a great night and let me know, honestly, what is it that you are dreaming big about?